Hi there, Mike Hall here, CEO of Just Collecting and Paul Fraser Collectibles. Now, I'm slightly nervous about the philatelic item I'm going to share with you today because it does cross over into the subject of religion, which is clearly an emotional subject. Now, the reason for that is that this stamp was actually banned for religious reasons. It comes from South Africa, and it was withdrawn before it was issued, and they were all meant to be destroyed. As is so often the case in stamps, a few thankfully escaped. Now, I don't have a single stamp, I have an entire sheet of 25. Let's take a look. It is an absolutely stunning piece. As you can see, the control numbers make it even better. The printed control numbers. It is an entire sheet in unmounted mint, post office fresh condition, and is incredibly attractive. Now, it's without a doubt a gem of South African philately. It's actually considered the premier South African modern stamp, so the most desirable stamp from the Republic of South Africa. It's called the Word of God, and it's in Greek and Hebrew, and it should have been withdrawn, as I said. So a little bit more about that. Now, if we go back to this, was issued on the 19th of November 1987. Now, at that time in South Africa, there was a national emergency. There was town uprisings, riots, national strikes, bombings. Despite that, the issue of the stamp actually made the news, which shows you the power of postage stamps sometimes. Now, at the time, the South African postal authorities had intended to issue a 4-stamp set to commemorate the Bible Society. Now, unfortunately, the 40C stamp that I showed you today contains 2 lines of script. And one is in Koine Greek, which is the New Testament language, and the other is in Hebrew, which is the Old Testament language. Unfortunately, both of these lines contain the word God. Now, the Orthodox Jewish community protested strongly because that's a huge transgression to Judaic law, where the word God can only appear in the Torah and in prayer books. Now, the postal authorities of South Africa had clearly not meant any, they didn't mean to offend any religious group, and they immediately recalled all of these stamps from the post offices. Now, the Jewish community asked for them to be buried rather than destroyed, but the postal authority destroyed them rather than burying them. Despite the fact that it really shouldn't exist at all, the stamp, 51 sheets escaped. Now, the reason for that is that the post offices were running short of the 40C stamps, and they opened their parcels early and sold a few of these to the general public earlier than they should have done. And most of them would have been used, so mint examples are far rarer. Now, because it's so rare, and because of the religious controversy, it's an extremely collectible stamp. So, bear in mind, this is an entire sheet of 25. I've never handled an entire sheet of 25 in my entire career of stamps, which is now over 20 years, as you can see from the grey hair. Now, the price itself, the South African colour catalogue lists a single stamp at a price of 14,000 Rand, which is around £700. I also read in an article in Lynn's Stamp News a few years back that a mint never hinged example, which is the same as what we have, is about $1,000. So, I mean, that means really this is a £17,500 full retail value on a breakup basis. That's for selling each individual stamp within the sheet. However, clearly, because the entire sheet is so extraordinarily rare, you would expect a significant premium to that. Regardless, the price this is available today for you to purchase is £9,950. Now that's a whopping 43% discount, and I do expect it to sell as a result, particularly because it is in such perfect condition, which it's a beautiful display item as well as being an incredible piece. Now, it also comes from Africa, which is one of the strongest parts of the stamp market at the moment, and has been for the past few years. It's followed in the footsteps of China and India to some extent, where emerging middle classes are getting interested in collecting. But I think there's just been a general renaissance on British Commonwealth stamp collecting, which was fueled partly by the pandemic. So it's a very strong area. And to illustrate this, the growth in value in the individual stamps in this sheet is 87% in the past 5 years based on the catalogue values. So clearly is looking like a good investment. So if you would like to take this off my hands today, please email me at mike@paulfrasercollectibles.com, and if you're first, you will secure it. I do think this is probably the nicest rarity I have at the moment, and certainly the best value. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Take care.